Welcome back, true believers, to the thrilling second round of our quest to crown the supreme champion of the Marvel Infinity Saga. We've survived the initial clashes, witnessing some surprising upsets and hard-fought victories as we've narrowed down our field from a mighty 23 to a lean and mean 12 cinematic contenders. The stakes are higher, the matchups are tougher, and the debates are about to get even more intense. But tonight, we are raising the bar. For each of these pivotal second-round battles, we're bringing in the big guns. In round one, we're honored to welcome our resident comic and Marvel expert, the one and only Liam Harris. Liam will be lending his encyclopedic knowledge and keen insights to dissect the nuances, celebrate the triumphs, and perhaps even point out a flaw or two in each cinematic face-off. He'll be giving us the expert's perspective on what makes these films truly shine within the grand tapestry of the Infinity Saga. Then, in round two, our very own super intelligent AI Gemini will step into the arena to weigh Liam's expert analysis and deliver its own definitive verdict on which movie emerges victorious in each head-to-head battle. Get ready for deep dives, passionate arguments, and ultimately, AI's calculated conclusions as we continue our journey to find the best movie in the Marvel Infinity Saga. Let the second round continue. Alright, here we go. Let's talk, let's chat, let's do it, let's talk about it. So, thus far, moving on to the third round. Avengers Endgame knocked off the number 1 ranked Avengers Endgame, knocked off the number 13th ranked Black Panther. Then we had the number 6th ranked Captain America Winter Soldier knock off the number 7th ranked Captain America Civil War. Then we had Avengers Infinity War knock the snot out of the number 2 ranked Avengers Infinity War, knock the snot out of the number 11th ranked Doctor Strange. Then last week we had the number 4 Iron Man kick the piss out of number 9 Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Then tonight we have the number 3 ranked Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, versus the number 10 ranked Spider-Man Homecoming. It's going to be a lot of fun. Super excited to get into round one, but I can't. Burn, I can't.
Oh, man. I know what we need here. We need the tale of the tape.
That's right, it's time for the tale of the tape. So let's get ready for a web-slinging cosmic showdown. Here's the tale of the tape for the Guardians of the Galaxy vs. Spider-Man Homecoming. Here we go. Release date. Guardians of the Galaxy release date August 1st, 2014. Spider-Man Homecoming release date July 7th, 2017. Then we have the runtime. Guardians of the Galaxy runtime 2 hours and 1 minute. Spider-Man Homecoming runtime 2 hours and 13 minutes. Film budget, pretty close. Guardians of the Galaxy film budget $170 million. Spider-Man Homecoming film budget $175 million. Then we're looking at opening weekend box office gross. For Guardians of the Galaxy, it's $94.3 million opening weekend box office gross. Spider-Man Homecoming, $117 million opening weekend box office gross. Then we're looking at worldwide box office gross. We got $772.8 million for Guardians of the Galaxy. And then for Spider-Man Homecoming, we got $880.2 million in worldwide box office gross. Then for the directors, Guardians of the Galaxy, we have Jimmy Gunn, good old James Gunn. And for Spider-Man Homecoming, we got John Watts, good old Johnny Watts. And that does it for the tale of the tape. We're going to keep it moving and head on to round one. Round one, fight! All right, here we go. So round one, we're bringing in our resident expert, Liam Reese. He's going to grade the movies on 3 different criteria. First one is going to be the how much it relates to the comic books and to the, I forget how'd you put it, Liam?
Respect or disrespect?
Yeah.
Respect or disrespect?
That's what it's all about. It's about respect.
Respect. And then For the second criteria, we're looking at the action fight scenes. And for the third one, we're ranking it as a standalone movie. And at the end, Liam will give his rating, which is pretty much dead on balls accurate. So, without any further ado, Liam, let's start off with criteria one. Which movie you going with first, Daddy?
Just like last week and the week before, doing chronological order. Start with Guardians of the Galaxy. Uh, Category one, did they respect the source material? Did they respect the, you know what I mean? Like the vision?
Yeah.
I think we talked about these guys last week, did Guardians 2 last week, and
Uh huh.
I think it's nothing but respect. You're talking about characters that are like were really not known, especially before this one. This is Guardians
Yeah.
of the Galaxy 1. Dude, nobody knew who Peter Quill was. Nobody knew Rocket and Groot. You know what I mean? Like people who read
Yeah.
comics, they read that Annihilation story, and that's when these characters started popping back up. But still, like the general public, not a clue. You know what I mean?
Not a
So
clue.
I think you have to look at it as like they did pretty much respect it. I mean, if you're into comics though, you're probably a little sore over Drax. I wasn't crazy about how Ronan kind of just like
Tool them
ragdolled
up.
him, just beat the crap out of him. Like that is not how that fight would go in the comic books. And speaking of Ronan, that's kind of a missed opportunity there because in this movie he's just like a bland, like mean, angry villain who just wants to blow up Xandar, and that's pretty much all that. You know what I mean? That's what's like driving him throughout the movie. And in the comics, he's a lot more than that. But
Okay. Can I interrupt? All right. Go ahead. Finish what you're saying, Liam.
nah, but general feel, the way Peter Quill is played, you know what I mean? Guardians got a bunch of underdogs saving the universe. That like is what Guardians of the Galaxy is. So they're, all in all, they're respecting the source.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this movie appeared in like half, almost towards the end. This was the last movie that came out before Avengers: Age of Ultron in Phase Two. So it really was like, it was kind of out of nowhere where this one came in, and it really kind of, it kind of it was one of the shining stars of Phase Two. Because if you look at Phase Two, it was Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, then Winter Soldier, which fucking crushed, then Guardians, then Age of Ultron, then Ant-Man. And I'll tell you, Winter Soldier and Guardians were definitely the two shining stars as a Phase 2.
Agreed.
So,
Yeah.
but can I ask this? That's one thing I've always wondered because they really don't. I mean, so is Ronan Thanos' son? Like, or is he
No,
adopted like Gamora is?
No,
no.
no, no. He's his own
Okay.
thing. He's like Ronan the Accuser. Like, so he's just like a Kree like revolutionary. You know what I mean? Like
Oh.
he basically exists because he wants to like protect like Kree law and like ensure the survival of his people. Remember the
Yeah.
Kree from Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Jude
the
Law, right?
people she was, yeah, Jude Law's people. Like he is like, like
Well,
an
that
extremist, you know what I mean? But wanted
that
to
whole
protect that race.
sorry, Liam, I didn't mean to cut you off. That whole movie is basically have a real quick conversation early on where it's Xandar and the Kree are like, "Hey, we've made a deal. We're cool now. Like we've signed a treaty." And the Kree are like, "Yeah, but Ronan, that's our guy. I mean, we like him, but he's totally insane. He's not going to respect any of that. So I guess just
Mm-hmm.
watch your back." But you're right. Like that kind of you want to see like a zealot. But and they got a good actor to play him, and then they just was really bland. They just did a really bland kind of, the same reason I'll never forgive Thor: Dark World because like Malachi is an
Yeah,
awesome villain,
same
and,
situation.
and they got a great actor in Chris Ecclesian to play him, and then just didn't let him let it fly.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right on there, Bern.
So okay, so then he's just a Kree. So how is he relate? He doesn't relate to Thanos at all. Then I thought he had one of Thanos'
No,
ships. Like
he's
he.
just
No,
a badass out there, like in the world, and that so
Okay.
there the agreement was Thanos pretty much said, "Bring me this orb, and you can destroy Xandar." You know what I mean? Like that was
Oh.
basically like their deal. And Thanos even says, "Like your politics bore me," which is kind of
hilarious.
yeah. But he just wanted the stone that was in there. But
Yeah.
kind of shame, kind of a missed opportunity. But you can only jam so much into a movie, so that's a
Yeah.
small flaw. You know what
Well,
I mean?
if you could change it for Ronan, like what kind of things would you have shown for him? Do you know?
Just like more what like drove him to do these things, not just like,
Okay.
Personality.
oh, I'm
His
mad at
personality,
Xandar,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
just like maybe he could like speak on that he's trying
Yeah.
to ensure the survival of his race and everything, and just
So I mean,
there's
he's
just
almost
more
like
to him
a
than that.
he's another relatable villain. I feel though, like think about all the eccentricities we saw in this movie, right? Like
Hmm.
you have Bradley Cooper as Rocket, you have Batista as Drax, you have Quill, you have Gamora, right? Like all super over the top eccentric characters. You even had Benicio del Toro as the Collector, right?
Hmm.
Like
John
all
C. Riley.
John C. Like all these massive, massive personalities in here. Do you think that they just didn't want to add too many ingredients to the soup?
I think there
And
just
like
wasn't
just
enough
like
room. Yeah.
yeah, like this guy, it'd be overkill. Like, can people that what you think they thought like it's overkill if this guy is fucking too much? You know?
Maybe, and when they go back and like do interviews and stuff, James
Hmm.
Gunn does say like a lot of like Ronin stuff and like his backstory and like his motivations and everything. That stuff kind of did get like cut down, so
Yeah,
that stuff didn't
I'd
make it
love to
into
see
the
that
final
B-roll
cut.
if they
Yeah,
had it.
I sure would too.
I
Yeah,
bet
Oh,
if they
dude,
but
did it, if they would,
dude,
dude, they would sell like trillions of unextended full cut fucking versions of Guardians.
release the 3 hour gun cut tomorrow,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
You know what the
Oh.
chances of that happening are now that he's not with Marvel
yeah,
anymore, Marvel?
zero,
There is
zero,
0% chance
zero.
you see
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
But
yeah,
you know what? Like in a perfect world, release a 3 hour gun cut of Guardians tomorrow. I'll
yeah.
pay $15 to watch it.
Dude, if they want people to go on their streaming platform, that is a perfect
That's
way
it.
to entice people.
Yeah.
Like,
Brilliant idea.
whatever,
Oh, it'd make
guns
it the
over
number
there,
one
but
movie
look, we
tomorrow.
have all this content
We
here.
still
Yeah.
Check
got
it
all this
out.
shit.
Oh yeah.
I'd be first in line, dude. Are you kidding
Heck
me?
yeah, dude. Oh, absolutely. Also, it'd give another director a chance to be like, hey, we kept the movie the same. I added in this B-roll stuff, threw in some music I like, whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude, it'd make
Dude,
it the number one movie on the platform tomorrow if they
even
did that.
just even just between the Guardian stuff and the Peacemaker stuff, I want to see all the shit Gunn has on the cutting room floor where he
Oh,
was like,
Yeah.
I guess we
dude,
can't
Peacemaker, I
quite go
cannot
there. Like
There's
wait.
probably some of it that's so good, dude.
Yeah,
he pushed it pretty
There
far.
is.
There are some scenes that are probably
yeah.
incredible.
Let's
Yep.
keep it moving. So that was the first criteria. What do you got for the
Yep.
second criteria? So
Cat.
pretty. So then, just to confirm, pretty relatable to the source material.
Yeah, yeah. The overall
Yeah.
feel and like the character. Yeah, you can't gripe too much on that. But
Perfect.
category two, the action and like fighting and everything. I mean, they kick it off. I love that first prison scene where Rocket
Mm,
like makes that pod. He uses the drones to turn that
Mhm.
pod into like a little
yeah.
ship. You know what I mean? That part was really cool, and that you get to see like Groot right away, like as your big gun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
tearing shit up in there, and
Yeah.
then
Dude, adult
there's
Groot too, which is funny to
yeah,
think because I mean by the time we get him, I mean he's almost adult Groot again in the third one, you know.
yeah,
But
yeah.
not
I mean,
till
he's a
late.
beast. He's
But he's
in the
like
third one.
20-year-old Groot,
Yeah.
22-year-old Groot, you know.
Hmm.
But he's not I mean teenage Groot was just the best.
And
Yeah.
but Teenage
Such
Groot
a
was still
prick.
in like Infinity War,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like so, even as recently as Infinity War, it was still Teenage Groot. You know, we don't
Yeah.
get
He was
Yeah.
another
still not to be
mature
messed
Groot.
with. You know what I mean?
No,
Yeah.
no,
Oh
no,
dude,
no.
he's
He's a
crushing
problem.
people.
Hmm.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you I mean but okay. But can we? I guess this would be the time. I mean, Rev changed the game, the Marvel game, as far as like the visuals, the colors he used, the schemes, the cinematography, and then the music. I mean, one, he
Yeah.
gave it that great '80s feel. You know, like oh god, when he's like running away from the hospital as a kid, gets picked up by the ship, the
Yeah.
best,
Yeah. You're
dude.
right. All the
The
action in this movie almost
oh
always has an amazing soundtrack with
that's
it and
oh
everything, and
yeah.
it's good. Like
And
there's
they
a
plucked the
lot of good stuff in
heartstrings.
there. Yep.
Honestly, the Guardians itself was the biggest surprise out of anything Marvel ever did, Infinity
Yeah.
Saga or otherwise,
Yeah.
and
I
they
would say
just
so.
I
absolutely
don't,
crushed it,
I
totally
don't know
out of
how they beat it.
nowhere.
I don't know how they beat it. Like, even
Yeah,
though we're pulling a lot of like obscure characters out and stuff for things like this, but like just coming out and putting your nuts on the table and be like Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's
yeah,
not even accurate to the comic book for the
It was
most
a
part.
bold, yeah, it was
Some
a
of them
yeah.
bold
have
move.
been, but it was so bold, and nothing exceeded my expectations more than this movie in
Mm.
the entire MCU. Now my
Think
expectations were
about the
lower
star
than
power.
Iron Man or whatever because I was like
Yeah.
Guardians, they're fun.
Hmm.
I remember Yondu. Who's the guy with the?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they weren't everyday
Michael
characters.
Rooker is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, stand out. Both movies stand out. Michael
Oh yeah.
Rooker's performance has been phenomenal across the board.
Oh
Well,
He's
the
yeah,
ca-
yeah.
honestly great actor. You
the
know,
the
I've
cat
Yeah.
seen him in a ton of stuff. So good.
the casting in general, and especially for
Ah,
this first movie, is like
yeah.
it's so
Saldano's
Is.
it's so
great.
dumb it
Yeah.
works.
Oh
Like
yeah.
how did
I
this
mean,
work?
even like dude, Vin Diesel is Groot, right?
Yeah.
Which
But
crazy.
that's
Like
like
we
a
talked,
joke more than anything, I
but
think.
we
You know what I mean?
talked
That's
about
just like
this,
to be
Liam.
funny.
Right, but now
Yeah.
no one else can be Groot. Like, can you?
Yeah.
It was such a stupid thing, but now could you imagine Groot sounding any
Oh,
differently?
the
I can't.
uproar. The uproar you would get. Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you this though, Liam, we talked about
Vince
this.
forever.
When the first movie came out, it was 2014. So Silver Linings Playbook had already happened. So Bradley Cooper is already pretty established star, right? But the fact that he's playing like a raccoon, you know, and but the most billable name in the
Hmm.
first Guardians of the Galaxy was Vin Diesel, you
For
know?
sure. Easy.
Going into it, not even close the most billable name, and then at
Was
the end,
Brolin? Did Brolin do No Country for Old Men yet, though?
both he was Thanos, right?
But
Yeah, but
But
Brolin
he was
wasn't in it.
barely in it though.
He
yeah,
just
no, no,
does
no.
he
And
just
Just
does the
also
the
he
one
was a surprise. Like you couldn't book him in the movie
no,
poster. Like
Lee's
yeah.
asking the right
he
question.
wasn't advertised, was he?
They showed Brolin, they showed a non-Brolin Thanos in one of the tags of the earlier
Yeah.
movies. And then they brought Brolin in for Guardians. I think it was it Iron Man 2 or whatever, or Thor 2 when he's
Oh,
like,
he was like
oh
in
well,
the
I'll do
end
it
scenes.
myself. Yeah, it was like the after the
Oh
credit
man,
scene
I
or
think it
whatever.
was
which one
after
was that?
the oh god, it wasn't the first Avengers. It was another thing.
Wait, was
It
that
But
might have
after
been, it might have
Guardians
been
2
Avengers.
when he comes in and gets it? Are you sure?
I don't know. But I'm just saying, like, the most billable, like, marketable name in the first one at when releasing it was Vin Diesel. And then by the time you get to the second one, it's not, like they're all mega stars, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, but okay, talking about the fight scenes,
Yeah.
everything was awesome.
Yeah. The
Also,
chases were
does,
good.
oh, they were so good. Also, does Rocket steal the eye in the first one?
No, he steals a leg in
He
this one.
sees a
Remember?
leg
There's a
in prison.
one-legged dude, and when
Yeah,
they're
that's
escaping
what I
from the
thought.
prison, when they're escaping from the prison, he gives everybody like tells them what he needs. I need this battery. I need you to go get this. I need you to go get that. And then he sends Quill. He's like, and I need so and so's leg up in this cell. And then Peter Quill goes up and he talks the guy into giving him his leg. He throws it down in front of Rocket, and Rocket's like, "You actually got that?"
Well, he
He's
buys
like,
it,
"I just
right?
thought it would be funny." Yeah, he pays for it for
But
like
he's like,
thirty
dude, I
thousand
paid
credits or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
30,000 credits for that guy's leg. And Rocket's like, oh,
Yeah.
that was just a joke, dude. I
Yeah.
just can't believe can you imagine him hopping around right now? That's
Oh
hilarious.
Yeah.
my god. So good. So okay. And then so I guess he just must have stole it at another time while in Contraxia, right? Also like the worlds we get introduced here to, like the prison, which was really cool, then like nowhere, which is so cool, you
Yeah, the
know?
chase at
So
oh, yeah, where they're at the collector, and I really like that one where they're in those
yeah.
like indestructible pods that they can't shoot, but they can like smash them into the other ships and stuff.
Yeah.
Then he
Yeah.
uses it to drive the other ship, drive some of Ronin's ships. That part
Yeah.
was cool, and I love all that sci-fi shit.
Oh,
Anytime
dude.
anytime you got ships fighting each other and blowing each other up, dude,
Yeah.
I'm all in for
Yeah.
that.
On a
Also,
mining planet, just bouncing around
yeah.
the horizon. Like, yeah, give you this
Mhm.
ultimate.
Also, when they have the final battle of the end, it's Xandar's ship formation.
Yeah.
How cool was that, dude?
Yeah, I love
I
that kind of stuff,
love
dude.
that.
Love it.
Oh, that's great sci-fi. I would agree.
Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
says go up more. You can't ask for much. And then the
Yeah,
fights
that's one more.
inside the ship are just as
Yeah.
good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you get Yondu's arrow scene, which is like, remember you watched that, and then you're like, like I was familiar with some of the characters, but I was like, dude, I gotta go check fucking Yondu
Yeah,
out. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. They were like
Oh yeah.
there were like dudes and walkers, and like there
Yeah.
was like 40 dudes, and then that is after. I don't know. Are there three better lines in the MCU than "We are Groot"?
Oh.
yeah. I'm gonna get to that. That's part of category
Oh,
3.
sorry,
We'll just
sorry. I'm
no.
so
All right.
sorry.
So
Actually, you know
Cut
what? We'll
that
just
shit.
jump
I'm
into
good
that.
Cut
on
that shit.
2.
No, I don't want to jump on Liam's shit.
It's okay. I'm good on criteria 2 if we're good to move on to
Yeah, me
3.
too. That's the perfect transition. We'll just jump right into 3.
Okay.
All right.
So criteria 3, we're going as a standalone movie.
Yeah,
It's not a superhero movie or sorry, it's not in the Marvel Infinity Saga. It's just a regular movie that you watch. Honestly, this is the like as far as like introductory of what would become some of the most major characters in the MCU. I mean,
yeah,
I think that says it all. Liam, your thoughts?
yeah. It absolutely does. It's like a perfect example of like what you want to see when you
Mm-hmm.
turn on one of these movies. When you turn on like a sci-fi action movie, you know what I mean? Like a bunch. It's a perfect mix, the right amount of like weird, cool, different, interesting
Yeah.
characters. You know what I mean? Story just falls into place.
Yeah.
Cool,
Fun.
cool ships and planets. Yeah,
So
it's
fun.
just
Oh,
fun the whole time.
fun.
It's
And
got to be
Yeah.
then
fun.
That's one
you,
thing Jimmy Gunn does. He brings the fucking fun.
hell
Jimmy
yeah,
Gunn
dude.
will always
And it's
bring
the
the
right
gun, the
amount.
fun,
It's
daddy.
always the right amount of all of
Yeah.
it, dude. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? He doesn't get
Yes.
stuck on any of that. Like, let's be goofy and like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They never
Doesn't
like
rest on his
overstay their
laurels.
welcome.
Yeah.
But so we talked about how good the casting was and everything. They have all those great actors and whatnot. And who delivers like the most emotional line in the whole movie? Fern just brought it up. A CGI fucking tree, a tree who only
Voiced by
says,
Vin Diesel.
yeah, who only says, I am Groot the entire movie. And then when he's about to sacrifice himself for his friends, he finally says, we are Groot. You know what I mean? And
Ugh.
that just gets you right in the feels, man.
Brings
It's
the
such,
house
Oh,
down.
it's a
Brings the
great
tickles
goddamn
you,
movie.
house
daddy.
down.
Yeah.
And then
Tickles you.
we are Groot, and then they come together. You know what I mean? Like this lovable band of underdog misfits. They come together, and then after Groot sacrifices himself, then they all kind of like they make that chain to grab the
Mhm.
stone, and it's just like it all just comes together, and they're
Yeah.
what I mean? They're like
They dance off to
unbreakable
save the
after.
universe.
Yeah, they're unbreakable after that. So I think
Yeah.
the answer is this a good movie on its own? Definitely. We
Hell
didn't know
Yeah.
much about them before we had the movie to begin with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah. Totally.
let's give this thing a score. Uh
Please.
Guardians of the Galaxy score. I'm giving it a 9.0 easy.
Nice.
It's one of the elite MCU movies. Like
Yeah.
the art, story, music, all that good stuff, right amount of funny. We talked about that. I think it's just all it is it's just like a better villain. It's just one like villain away from being like one of the top, like at the tippy top with like
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the
Infinity.
best.
Yeah, to be with Infinity War, like up in those ranks with Infinity War
Mhm.
and Winter Soldier. Like if they just like Ronan was just more,
Yeah.
like a little more deep, then
Liam,
Yeah.
you're up in the higher nines.
Liam, I
Yeah.
think 9 is perfect. The one thing that everyone should consider too is that this is the first Marvel movie that really took us to space, which has to
Mm.
happen for the MCU
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a
Agreed.
lot of the stuff that's important, a lot of their huge overarching stories, like Civil War is a very self-contained story, but a lot of their really, really big stuff, you got to get to space, you got to get out there, especially if you're going to do
Mhm.
the X-Men, if you're going to do the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And it is our first confirmation of an Infinity Stone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No.
Del Toro's like, here's the deal. There's a bunch of these shits out here.
Yeah.
And
You're right.
Oh,
They
okay.
they
All
pop
right.
wild.
up, but they pop up. But you're right. This is
Like,
the
cause
first time
Thor
they
Dark,
really
I
break it
like, cause
down to
like,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they didn't know that was the Aether. They didn't know the Tesseract was the. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah.
Yeah.
You're
this.
right.
Good
You're
point,
right.
Vern.
Yep.
Good point.
This
Yeah.
Yep.
this pounds at
He
home.
puts
Like
it together.
here's what we're
Yeah.
doing. We're doing okay. This is the Power Stone. Like so now everyone knows. If you read comics at all, you're like, well, I was pretty sure this is what they were doing, and now I'm positive we're doing
Mhm.
Yeah.
Infinity Gem, and
Yeah.
like incredible excitement from like the comic insider community to be like, oh shit, they are shooting their shot. They're going for a
Yeah.
real big one right off the jab.
But I love that though. I love that
Yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't rest on like, oh no, let's just stick with Thor, Iron Man, and Captain America and just keep no. They wanted to make new stars, and that's how you grow, and that's what it's all about. Also, like as far as like you guys said it, fun and fucking original, right?
Yeah.
Like the originality of this is awesome. Also, I love how Quill fights, like with the flying around, his headset thing, he's
Yeah.
blasting the guns.
Quill's a
Like he's a
very fun
fucking flying
character.
cowboy. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah.
Yep.
love that. Love that's how he fights.
And
But
and
yeah,
and
Yondo's
at
the
the end,
fucking. I love Yondo's thing.
of Endgame, spoiler alert, who's fighting Thanos? Tony, Cap, Thor. Like we got
Mhm.
there, but we needed roads to bring all these things together. And Guardians
Oh
of the
yeah.
Galaxy
Thor's
might be
not
the
there
important thing.
if the Guardians don't save him in
No,
Infinity War. You
no,
Yeah.
know.
so important.
Yeah. Vital. So okay, great score. I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Not at
Burn,
all.
you know, yeah. So really good. So okay, so let's move on to the next one, Spider-Man: Homecoming. I'll tell you, this one was a lot as far as like this deal with Sony had whatever, and now like they're making a fucking Spider-Man. They got a new guy coming in, a young Tommy Holland, right? You
Hmm.
got Zendaya and then the villain, Mikey Keats, you know?
Don't even get me started.
Michael
My
Keaton was massive in this movie. He
So,
was
dude, he's
incredible.
coming
to
off his
me.
Birdman gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking red hot, daddy. So, Liam, go ahead. First criteria, we're looking at respect to the source material. Let daddy smack it. Go ahead, babe.
Yeah. Like for you got we just talked about Keaton, Toombs, Adrian Toombs, Vulture. Dude, it wasn't like exactly the same, obviously it wasn't Department of Damage Control. He had this company with another guy and the guy was embezzling and stuff, but he gets to like the same point. You know what I mean? Like he builds the vulture suit, and so I don't think there's too much of like they didn't veer off. They just did that to like make it fit with the MCU.
No,
So
you
I think
totally
you're
get why,
still
right? He got jobbed and was like, "Well, fuck you." Like he
yeah.
legitimately got jobbed and then was like, "Well, then now what I'm gonna do?" Like, so yeah, whatever they do, that was Vulture, that was Mike Keaton. Like you're right, they nailed that.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I
just
Go ahead,
nah, go
Liam.
ahead, Matt. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say, I love when they like tie up loose ends as well. I fucking love that this guy gets his gimmick because aliens attacked fucking New York and now they left all this fucking trash everywhere and someone's got to clean it up. And what's he do? He takes the alien tech, makes awesome weapons out of it, starts doing all this shit. Like, that's to me, that's what would fucking happen, right? Like that's exactly the kind of shit that would happen, and that's how this. So I love when they get like the real life feel of where this guy comes from. Also, we've talked about before, the villain makes the fucking pick,
Well,
It
yeah,
right?
and
does.
and
It
and they fuck
absolutely
him.
does.
They fuck him, Matt. He says like, "What are you talking about? Like you're taking this over? I just bought 20 trucks. I just hired dozens of people. Like I just
Yeah,
Hmm.
accepted this contract." And they were like, "Well, this contract's over."
yeah.
So
They,
like three
dude,
years later, he's like, "All right, well, I stole some shit and I robbed." Michael Keaton still paid all those guys, right? He paid
yeah,
for those trucks. He paid those guys. He just had to get a little creative and
dude.
do
I'll
it.
tell you
But
what, Burn. He told those yuppies to back the fuck off,
he told him back
and
the
he was
fuck off.
fucking. He told him to back
Who
the fuck
has
off,
anyone
baby.
ever been more banged by yuppies than Michael Keaton in Spider-Man: Homecoming? That opening
Oh,
scene where they're like, "We'll take over now, sir." And
do you know how
well,
many? Do you know how many union, like, you know how many private contractors are like, this fucking guy stands
yeah.
for us?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Keaton just goes. He goes, "I just bought 20 trucks. Like
Yeah.
that's a
I
thing
invested
that happens
everything
in the
in
world. I
this.
just put all my money into like this deal, and I didn't need to. I
I
wasn't
got
like
a
a
Yeah,
kid that's gonna get
hobo.
blasted by Spidey. Like, what are we
I
doing here?
actually, I actually, we're talking about this. I think that's kind of a gap because so
Like it.
the stuff's going to Stark. Don't you think Tony Stark would be like, "Yo, pay the man. Like, I'll take the
Right.
stuff. Like, pay the man, pay the
I mean,
So is it
their
contractor."
so
house
is it
was nice.
Happy Hogan that does
Yeah,
it?
Yeah,
Is it
who
Happy
embezzles?
Hogan
Wait,
that
who
fucks this?
embezzles? Who embezzles?
yeah.
Because you're right. Keaton doesn't. They have that
Was
house.
it Potts?
They have that house. Keaton's house is nice. They have a party. There's a teenage house party there. It's a
Yeah,
nice
good old
house.
house.
Oh yeah.
Great house out in the burbs. Plenty of light. Lots
Oh
of
yeah.
space.
But
Dude,
Damn.
was it fucking Potts that said
No, it was
fucking
Hogan.
sit
It
and
was
spin?
100%
no way.
happy. 100%
No.
happy.
Happy
Yeah.
Hogan said fucking sit and spin, daddy.
But he took the money and put it into judo class. You know
No,
what I mean? Like
he
he
just
wanted to be
forwarded to
better.
voice. No, he just forwarded to voicemail. He just never answered. Remember, Spider
Yeah.
Man's trying to call him the whole
Oh
movie,
yeah.
and he
That's
could
right.
never get a hold of him. So maybe it's
Yeah.
just that. Like
I,
they were supposed to pay. They were supposed to pay Vulture, but then they never did because he didn't check his voicemail.
That's very
dude, how
until
awesome was that too when they introduced it? Like I loved how they introduced it as well when they were like it was showing like videos on his phone from being called into Civil War, you know?
Hmm.
Like how fucking cool was that?
well, I was
Really
Yeah.
good.
Liam, I was just gonna say, unfortunately for Vulture, you didn't have a super hot aunt. Because
Yo,
because
so that is one we're talking
Peter
about
started getting those
respect.
calls back soon.
We're talking about respect to source material. That is a change that I don't think
Oh
anybody is
yeah.
going to complain about. May
No.
has always just been like an old aunt and
85 years
everything.
old. She's
She's
Oh,
always been 85
never
years
been
old.
hot until
dude.
this
No.
movie.
No.
Dude, that was right off of
Switching to Marissa Tomei is,
Oh,
I think we can respect that
dude,
artistic
she
choice.
had
You know what I
just
mean?
done The Wrestler too, so it's fucking red hot
Yeah,
Tomei,
but
daddy.
but
That was
dude,
red hot fucking Tomei.
yeah, she's as good as they get.
Oh,
But
she's the fucking
aside from
best.
that,
No
this
one's
movie
good.
they did take like a lot of liberties in this movie though. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
talk to me about it.
I'm not crazy about like the whole MJ thing and it's
Mm.
not Mary Jane Watson.
Fake out.
You know what I
Fake
mean?
out. Yeah.
Like it is a fake out. I don't think that's going to end up
I don't
being
get it.
MJ.
What are you talking about?
So Spider-Man's like love of his life is Mary
Right.
Jane Watson in everything. You know
And
what
it's
I mean?
always start it always
Except
starts
for when
in
it's Gwen, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, except
uh,
for when he's yeah. But
it's
like
complicated.
for it to be like MJ and it's not real like so it's like he has a girl and it's Zendaya so she's a movie star. It's kind of like I don't know. I'm just not crazy. I don't dislike her as an actress or anything. I just don't like the choice. Just make
I don't
her
see the
Mary
appeal.
Jane Watson then. Just make her the
Oh, so
character.
what? Her name is just MJ. They never say her full name.
Yeah,
Her
yeah.
name
It's
is
like
like Michelle Johnson or something,
yeah.
but she doesn't go by that.
What? Yeah, what the fuck's the point of
You know
that?
what? No, no.
There
Listen,
is
I have
no
an
point
answer.
to it.
I have an answer. I have an answer. I think it makes Spider-Man more human. That yeah, things didn't work out with like your first or second girlfriend. That's fucking life, dude. Like your first
Yeah,
girlfriend's a disaster. Your second
I
girlfriend,
get
that's
it.
probably not going to
I
work
know.
out. Maybe you get one later
Bro,
on. That's all right. But
thank God I'm not
But
with
then
my
why is
first
she the
girlfriend.
main in all three movies, dude?
well,
In everything.
well, two, they get there.
Across the
She
universe.
knows who he is, and three, she's badly in love with him. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I know.
I just don't. I mean, honestly, I don't hate Zendaya, but I mean, well, I wasn't the biggest Kirsten Dunst fan either, you know. So I don't know. I
I
mean,
think
I would
Zendaya's
like.
fascinating. I'm fascinated by her. I love her.
Gwen,
I thought Keaton's daughter was hotter.
yeah, she was. And Gwen
What?
Stacy, Emma Stone, she was good.
Oh,
Oh,
Emma
That
Stone.
was a good that was
She,
a good
that
lo-
dude,
that was a good love
blonde
interest.
haired Emma
Yeah.
Stone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
fucking blondie, platinum blonde
Yeah,
Emma.
she's
Who
the
stands a
winner
chance?
like of the
Who stands
yeah,
a chance?
Dude,
yeah.
we're all
Nobody.
three pump Charlies on that
Oh,
one.
cut,
Three
kill,
pumps is two
kill.
pumps too many, Daddy.
Done and done.
So,
Thanks
all
for letting me
right,
in the
Alright.
room.
Yeah, we'll get
source material, you're giving it like a C or a B minus,
yeah,
maybe.
yeah, can even I'll be real quick with this. Spider-Man, they spent way too much time on him being like reliant on like approval from Tony and like he had to have the
Oh,
fucking, you know what I mean, like the souped up suit and everything. Like,
oh,
dude,
yeah.
Spider-Man is like a genius on his own. Like he can engineer
Yeah.
all that shit on his own in the comics. Like he does not. They
Oh.
get there eventually where he stands on his own feet, but
Yeah.
I think it took entirely too long, to be
Didn't
honest
you
with you.
say he gets the suit a lot earlier too? Like the suit he gets in Infinity War, he gets that one like a lot earlier too, right?
Well, no. That's in Civil War. He gets an iron spike. Like he gets
Yeah.
Tony makes him a suit because he's on Tony's side in Civil
Yeah.
War, and he's kind of
Yeah.
got that Iron Spider suit.
But
You
that's
know?
but
Alright.
Maddie, that's like the first suit that anyone's made for Spider-Man other than like a symbiote in like 40 years. Like Spider-Man does his
Oh.
own
Yeah,
shit. You know what
Yeah,
I
he's
mean? He makes
He
smart,
does
dude.
his
He
own.
can.
Okay.
Yeah, he
his
I
can
see
suit's
do
what you're
fucking
this.
saying.
it's been spandex for 80 years, man.
So he's
Like
on the level of genius with the Starks and the
Uh,
Banners.
he's not quite as smart as they are,
But he
but
can't he
he is
could
respect.
he's a,
He doesn't need anybody to back him up, though. You know what I mean?
okay.
Like he
he'll
can handle
figure
it
it
on his
out.
own.
Oh, so then can I ask then where's Vulture's level of genius as well? Because
Same.
he's
He's smart as
he's
shit
legit
too.
getting chicken shit and making chicken salad with this
Yep.
alien
Well,
tech.
they use the Tinkerer to like put all that stuff together in this
Oh
movie,
yeah, you're right.
but in the comics, yeah, the Vulture like he like that was the company he owned. They were like an engineering firm or whatever, and he like
Yeah.
makes that suit and everything. He's
Yeah.
smart.
He's
He
also
bought
like
20 trucks.
70. He's also really old
Yeah,
in the
he's
comics.
old
He's like
and
70 years old.
mean. Yeah, he's old
He's
and
like
mean as shit.
old and pissed off and like fuck everybody.
Who
Like
plays
Yeah.
he's
it?
like
Is it
legit 70.
Toby, whatever that plays the Tinkerer? I'll have to look it up. Forget
Oh,
the name of
that
the
guy.
The,
actor.
Yeah, he's
the,
in a lot of stuff. You're right. I can't remember his name
All
though.
right, so what criteria are we on now? We going to
Yes, all right. Category
action?
2,
Yeah.
action. So there was some good action in this movie. Like when he's in remember when he goes to the top of the Washington Monument and he swings
Mhm.
up over
Awesome.
that is like Spider-Man right there. The
Hmm.
acrobatics, getting through that
Tiny
small window.
window.
Yeah, saving the
Field
elevator
trip.
at the last possible second. That's like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? To
Dude,
me,
I forgot about
that's
the
Spider-Man.
Washington D.C. part. You're right. That is
Yeah,
really fucking
that
cool.
part's cool. And
Nice.
I think, like all in all, the action was good. But I think like like once Vulture like makes the turn to like full villain, that's when things really get like kicked off. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
When they start
Hmm.
the heist or before that, remember when he knocks the building down and like that's when I
Yeah.
think the action like really picks
In the
up.
car on the way to the prom.
Yeah,
Where he's
well
just like,
that's
hey.
yeah, we're gonna get to that because that's like to me that's the meat here. You know what I mean?
Liam, I'm sorry I
That's the
keep killing
steak of
you.
this movie.
I'm sorry I keep jumping you.
No, you're
Twice.
fine, dude.
It's twice.
But yeah,
So okay. Okay. So, I mean, honestly, I really like the action. I'll tell you, we all remember when the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man came out and they're swooping through the city and shit. That's still fucking cool, dude.
This is
of course
great.
it is.
And
Yeah,
it really looked good the way they did it. I love like and they had all the classic Spider-Man stuff like I like a lot of that I really do still enjoy. So, as far as the action goes, they did and like what they did with Keaton, he was great. Like the
yes,
fighting scenes they did was great.
yeah,
And then when Tony's coming in and he's saying, "Oh, you got your ass kicked and you're in the river now," and blah blah blah, and
yeah.
all this
That part
fucking
was
shit,
cool when he's trying to hold the boat together and everything. That's not what I mean.
Oh, that was a great
And he's
shot
like, "You're
too.
tampering with things you don't understand, kid." You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And then he leaves,
Yeah,
and Shocker
yeah,
jumps on his back. It's good. It's good action. It's
yeah.
par for the course.
Yeah,
But
no, really, really good stuff. Really like how they did it. I mean,
mhm.
also, I feel like they were trying to hit a different demographic as far as like the dialogue between the Spider-Man, Ed, and is Ed the friend's name, right?
Ned
Ned.
is. Yeah.
Ned,
Ned.
Ned. Spider-Man, Ned, and Zendaya. And then also they're checking off all the boxes as far as like the people they're casting. So they casted a white male lead. So he has to
Mhm.
be kind of a poof. And then his friend has to be like, this, and his girlfriend has to be that. Like they're checking all the boxes for every demographic as well. But the dialogue kept it that it was just like, honestly, it fit. I liked it.
Well, yeah,
You
they're
know?
just, kids at school. They
Yeah.
didn't like really have to like
Even like they make
hammer
Zendaya,
that into
like,
you.
but like even though they made MJ in this one more of like the quiet loner hottie, and as opposed to
Mhm.
like every other time you see MJ, she's the cool popular girl that dates the jock idiot, aka Joe
Redhead.
Manganiello.
Redhead. They did not
Yeah.
make her a redhead. Like that's the big thing. MJ's always been this like crazy redhead. It was like I think this is the way ink works back in the day. Like MJ was a redhead, Gwen Stacy was a blonde.
Blonde.
Yeah.
And like that was the battle.
Well, I don't think she's Mary Jane. I think that they casted a redhead in the next Spider-Man movie coming
Yeah.
up, and I think
Yeah.
that's going to be like he meets her, and that's Mary Jane. I think
Okay.
that's my guess. But moving on.
Yeah.
to
Go ahead. Move on to it. Yeah, you're good. Move on to the
Category
as a
3,
standalone.
was this movie a good movie on its own? I got to be 100% honest with you.
Please.
I'm going to be biased here. Michael Keaton is one of my favorite actors
It's so
ever.
Great villain.
And
right.
they knew what they were doing casting
Yeah.
him, and he was
Yeah.
Batman to so many of us when we were kids
Yeah.
and everything. Like that was
Yeah.
not a mistake bringing him in there like that.
Yeah.
Not only
And he
that,
still,
like,
but he fucking brought like
oh my gosh.
when they figure each other out in the car, that
Yes.
fucking scene, that the
to me-
fucking tension, daddy. That's
You're
it, babe.
You're 15. You're 15 years old,
Yeah.
and you're having that conversation with Michael Keaton in the front seat.
Yep.
Dude, and he goes from dad to Michael fucking like
Dude,
the way he
tension in
turns it
that
on.
scene,
Awesome.
as far as I'm concerned, that is one of the best scenes in all the movies they've ever made.
Agreed.
When he gets there and starts to put the pieces together, and like on the ride over there, it's like hitting him what's happening to him and stuff. Like they're talking, they're not really, she doesn't get out of the car yet, but you can feel the tension in that
It's already
scene.
going it's already going some kind of way. And she has no idea. It's just those two being like, what? And also, you remember going to your first dance ever? Like that already is the worst feeling in the entire world. Where you're like in the car with like your mom or their dad, and you're just like sitting in the back in your stupid polo shirt, and your tie.
And you already feel stupid because you got forced to buy some flower thing that you had to like give them in front of everybody and look like a dick. You know
everyone's super embarrassed, and then
like
all
here
of a sudden,
they said I'm supposed to give you a flower,
and then the vulture turns around and is like, I will kill you and your entire family.
Yeah.
So
but
good.
That scene,
he's like, I'm not saying it, but you can see with my eyes, I will rape your aunt. Because I mean,
I will. What do you say? He says, I will kill you and everyone you love, or I will kill you and your whole family. But like, he lays it out right on the spot. He's just like, I know who you are.
So yeah, dude, we all have daughters. Imagine what you would say to that fucking kid. I don't care if you were kicked by a fucking poisonous spider or whatever. You have this shit. I'll fucking kill you. I'll kill your whole family, and I'll fucking sleep happy about it, babe.
Well, they had already been kind of getting the best of him at that point anyway, like getting the better of him up until that point anyway. So he's probably pretty cocky at that point. Like, dude, I don't even care if you're Spider-Man, dude. You know what I mean?
Also, he's an adult and he's a fucking teenager. Yeah, like, come on.
And he's making that turn like that. In that moment, though, he's also like deciding, like he's realizing, like, okay, Spider-Man, like you can see, like Keaton decides, like, all right, I'm going full villain now. You know what I mean? Like now it's time to like get nasty. But as far as I'm concerned, up until that point, I'm not saying the movie was bad, but it was pretty like your run-of-the-mill MCU movie. Yeah, like the action was decent, but once you get to that point, that's when like things really. That's when I think it becomes like an infinitely better movie. Because when he goes to confront him, remember when they go into that warehouse and he brings it down on him and he's like, "Come on, Spider-Man!" And he's trying to get out of the rubble and everything. The movie just gets so much more intense from there, dude.
So you're so right. You are so right. Yeah.
And then you know what I mean. Then it all comes together. It's like he gets the redemption, taking on a villain as kind of nasty a slow burn. As villain. Yeah, taking on Vulture like on his own. He calls it in and everything, and still, you know what I mean? Like that's Spider-Man though, dude. You know what I mean?
And also like a really cool scene, like Spider-Man stopping a heist. Vulture's trying to heist a plane, and then when all is said and done, Vulture's in jail. Like no one gets killed, no one's dead. Spider-Man does not murder.
That's part of his thing. He's not a killer.
Well, it's not necessarily part of the thing. He just doesn't do it. But then, like, there's some
Because
really
he's a
interesting
good
comics to come
person.
later on.
Yeah.
Right? He doesn't want to. When he starts to realize how much he's been holding back, and then as the reader, you realize like he could have just been fucking killing these people
Yeah,
Right.
the
the
whole
whole
Right.
time.
time. The whole time.
He's just like the point of like Spider-Man in the comics really is that like
Yeah.
he is like the best of them. You know what I mean? Like he's
Mm-hmm.
morally good. He's
Yeah.
like as powerful. You know what I mean? Well, there's more
Yeah, he's
powerful
just a
characters,
good
but you know what I
fucking
mean?
dope.
But
Yeah.
he's like as good as it gets. You know?
It's
What,
Like
because
what
he's
would be
part noodle.
well,
yeah,
yeah.
kind of.
What would be
Yeah,
a
yeah,
cooler dude to be at 17? You know what I mean? You
Right.
don't know what's
Right.
going on, right? So you're
No.
part badass, you're part
You don't
noodle.
fucking know your ass from a hole in the ground, you
Right.
know?
You do whatever. And I will say, I think Liam's right. I mean, there are some patchy parts, especially early in this movie with the whole like Shocker 2 thing, the weapon thing, the
Mm.
swinging around in the
yeah,
suburbs. Like,
yeah.
no one's quite sure.
I'll tell you.
But,
He's
but,
lucky
but,
that he didn't get that prom night because it would have been Shocker 3.
well,
Hey, with Keaton's daughter.
but this got a lot of credit because everyone's always waiting for a Spider-Man movie. You and
Yeah.
I, and we've all been waiting for a Spider-Man movie every couple of years since we were like young.
Yeah.
And this one actually gave the nod and was in
Crushed.
association with Marvel and was like, listen, we have a plan to bring this in.
Mm.
And I agree. I think the Iron Man stuff is tough for a Spidey origin story. But I kind of feel like we just got to watch 3 Spider-Man movies and him in like a bunch of other movies. And this next Spider-Man movie might be more of an origin movie than
Yeah, I'm
we've seen before. And if they pull that off, then it's the most brilliant introduction of Spider-Man into the
it'll be cool
MCU that
because
could have ever
everybody
happened.
forgets it. Yeah, everybody forgets about him now. He goes and gets a job at the Bugle, and he's
Starts
by
just doing
himself
his
in that
thing.
apartment, dude. It's they if they do it right, it'll be awesome. But
It
All
will
right.
be perfect.
yeah,
Let's score this.
all
Let's score
right,
this puppy.
score it. Okay, I'm gonna say because they spent like a ton of time in the beginning of Peter being reliant on Stark and everything. Like I said, I wasn't crazy about that. Then Spider-Man has to like figure out on his own that he's capable and everything. Without with that being said, like without Keaton kind of like bringing this
Mm.
thing home, it's probably like an 8-1 movie. But because you have Keaton there and because of how good he is, it probably bumps up like to an 8-6. I give it an 8-6.
Damn. Pretty good, though. Pretty good.
Excellent.
Yeah. It
Pretty
Great.
ends
good.
up being a
Great.
really good movie I think they get lucky at the end because they,
All
you
right.
know,
Well, so let's do this. That does it for round one. Let's head on to round two. Round two. Fight! All right, so round two, what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to our AI overlord Gemini and ask them to give us a verdict on what movie they think is better, Guardians of the Galaxy or Spider-Man Homecoming. So here we go. So I reached out to Gemini. I said, "Hello, Gemini. Can you please tell me what movie you think is better, Guardians of the Galaxy or Spider-Man Homecoming?" And they had this today to say. They said, "This is a fantastic matchup between two of the MCU's most beloved and distinctly toned films. Both Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man Homecoming brought fresh energy and unique perspectives to the superhero genre. If I had to choose what movie I think is better overall, I would lean slightly.
oh,
Fuck off.
Fucking
Fuck off.
oh,
Christ.
yeah.
I would lean slightly towards Guardians of the Galaxy. And here's why: originality and world building. Guardians of the Galaxy took a group of relatively obscure comic book characters and, through James Gunn's unique vision, turned them into global superstars. It created an entire vibrant, quirky, and visually stunning cosmic corner of the MCU from scratch, packed with distinct aliens, cultures, and lore. This felt genuinely new and ambitious. Very true.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then it talks about the Guardians of the Galaxy unique tone and humor. The film masterfully blends irreverent humor, heartfelt character moments, and thrilling action. Its specific brand of comedy, driven by its dysfunctional family dynamic, was a refreshing departure from other MCU films at the time. also very true. And then it goes on to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy talks about the memorable ensemble. The chemistry between the entire Guardians cast is exceptional. Each character from Rocket to Groot to Drax is incredibly distinct and contributes significantly to the film's charm and humor. But they did say this. Said, however, Spider-Man Homecoming also had significant strengths. Grounding Spider-Man. It brilliantly brought Spider-Man into the MCU, focusing on his high school life and making him feel like a relatable teenager trying to balance immense power with everyday problems. And then excellent villain, you said it, relatable. This guy, the Spider-Man Homecoming's villain, the Vulture, Michael Keaton, is one of the MCU's most compelling villains with understandable motivations that make him real and a human threat. So fucking true. And then, it talks about how Spider-Man Homecoming is fun, relatable tone. It perfectly captures the youthful exuberance and awkwardness of Peter Parker. So, ultimately, Spider-Man Homecoming is a fantastic and highly enjoyable film that perfectly integrates Spidey into the MCU. Guardians of the Galaxy gets the slight edge for its sheer originality. It's daring in building an entirely new and beloved corner of the universe from the ground up, and its truly unique voice within the superhero landscape. So, originality counts. I could not agree more. They took a chance on the actors and actresses with, at the time, fucking Chris Pratt is Andy from Parks and Rec. You know what I mean? So he's relatively obscure. So, took a chance on a main guy who ends up being a star. Crushed it. The music, the action, the visuals, everything was great. So, Guardians of the Galaxy, moving on to round 3. Lashmoosh, what do you got, Poppy Chulo?
I know I said this last week, but I think this time, actually, when I go to do my homework for next week, this one is, I think you saved this one last on purpose. This will be the hardest one to actually score.
Next week's
Ragnarok and original Avengers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That matchup.
It's a toss
That matchup is crazy.
Oh,
yeah. So like you said, the winner of this week, the number 3 ranked Guardians of the Galaxy, took down the number 10 ranked Spider-Man Homecoming. Next week, which is also the final match of round 2, we have the Avengers versus Thor Ragnarok. Number 5 versus number 8. I mean, it's going to be a fucking slugfest next
God
week. Burn
damn,
your
dude.
thoughts.
I mean, anything can happen here. Like,
this is, besides
shit.
Winter Soldier versus Civil War, this has got to be the closest, right?
This is gonna be the closest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't, and I have to actually do a lot.
I can't fucking call it, dude. One, Thor Ragnarok was such a fucking resurgence for the Thor franchise.
Such a game changer, but also the original Avengers was the game changer for this whole genre.
And it was very good.
And it was very good. Yep. Well
Josh
structured,
Whedon was
good
awesome.
Characters. Even your Coulson shit, like everybody was fleshed out. It was
Good
villain. Good villain.
Great villain. Both of them great villains.
Both of them good villain. Yep.
Oh my god. Oh dude, we talked about it in round 1, but Blanchett in that fucking bodysuit, dude. Daddy was looking and Daddy was liking. So super excited for that.
She's poking both your eyeballs out. Like, the second you look at her weird, she's like, you have 1,000 spikes in your face. I hope it's
yeah. So we're gonna have 6 moving on to the third round. So I don't know. 6. So that gives us 3 matchups, and then the 3 from those matchups will move on to the semifinals. But
3-way death match.
Well, we could do a 3-way. Well, we do have a plan. I guess we'll talk about it when we get there, Burn.
All right.
But Liam, it involves you. So Liam, I don't know if you're willing, but are you willing to go for the ride till the end with this? Because we kind of needed you. And I forgot to ask.
As long as you're willing to work with me on Sunday nights, then we're good.
I think we can absolutely commit to that.
Yeah, if you're willing to keep Sundays, we can definitely do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I am. Yep, we're good.
Perfect. All right. Well, we're heading out. So before we get out of here, Lashmoosh, what do you got?
Nothing. Just keep on keeping on. We're gonna do this next week, and it's gonna be
Next
closer
week's gonna
than
be a
ever.
fucking kick in
Oh.
the
Yeah,
dick,
I
Daddy.
I
Oh.
am excited, but I'm excited
Yeah.
for it every week. So you know.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun, dude. Researching
I'm
it's fun. I
double
do really
excited.
enjoy it. It is nice.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course. I get to sit there and watch the movies and like take notes. You know what I mean? Go hit
You
the
know what we should
bookshelf and
do?
see what
We
we
should
got.
start. I mean, we should perform a. Liam, I'll tell you, on fucking, when we record the Retorted show, when
Yeah, I
we
watched.
do.
Yeah, I saw the beginning of the last one. You did a scene,
Oh
right?
yeah,
And
we
the,
try
and
to
the
get really.
guy's name was Liam, so I was like
Yeah,
listening to it, and I'm like,
It was Liam
yeah,
Did
last
you think,
season.
also, did you think it was Bach with the salt and pepper shakers?
yes, yeah. Well, I commented that I thought it was
Yeah,
Bach.
I saw
I
that.
was like,
Yeah.
gotta
I
be
thought
Bach,
for
right? And you were like,
sure.
no, it was me, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought
Oh,
for sure
dude.
that was a Bach, and I don't know Bach nearly as well as any of you guys know, but I thought that for sure was a Bach move.
I
It was
mean,
like
it's so hard not to
it
pick
was
him for everything.
aggressive,
It
but not
is.
harmful. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
when you say you're like he's the ultimate wild card, and he is. He is the.
He is.
He is.
could be there
Yeah,
for anything.
Bach
Yeah.
is
Burn, what do you got before we
absolutely
get
a
out of
wild
here?
card.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait for next week. Round 2 has been an absolute blast. We're
So
settling
good.
it up with maybe one of the toughest. I mean, really upset
Yeah.
potential here.
Big
coming.
time.
And then
Big time.
we'll have big announcements about how we're going to do round 3. Thanks for sticking with us, guys. This has been awesome. I don't have to do the same research Liam does, but I pretend I do, so I just watch them. I'm like, sorry, guys, I got a pod coming up.
Yeah, we're researching. Sorry. So,
but I don't have to
well,
be nearly as involved. So,
yep. So speaking of being some awesome big swinging dicks, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast presents Ask AI. I'm Matt Lavelle, he's Burn Pockasy, and he's Liam Reese. And in case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You're also on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe. And we'll keep bringing you this sweet, sweet content. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the flippy. Thanks. See ya.